Griffith is the main antagonist of the Berserk franchise. He was the founder and leader of the mercenary group Band of the Hawk, who fought in the 100-Year War and restored peace for the war-torn kingdom of Midland. However, upon being abandoned by his former best friend Guts, imprisoned and tortured for over a year by the king after sleeping with Charlotte, Griffith used the Eclipse to sacrifice his entire army to reborn as Femto, the fifth, newest, and final member of the God Hand. He then violated Casca in front of Guts out of spite, becoming their archenemy. Griffith was once a fair, semi-honorable, and straightforward man. However, as a mercenary, he is also extremely opportunistic, ambitious, and power-hungry. Still, when not on the job, he does have a less serious, more playful and joking side. This side of him is usually reserved for Casca or Guts, especially the latter. However, Griffith is also quite possessive, egotistical, manipulative, vicious, and obsessive, to the point that he was willing to strike Guts down than to let him go when the larger man muses about leaving. Despite his pride, he was also deeply insecure, as he felt resentful at Guts for appearing to surpass him. In an attempt to sate his ego, he had sex with a princess, despite knowing how her father would react. After suffering intense torture, he felt self-pity, yet refused to accept responsibility for his actions, instead still blaming Guts and his men for betraying him. Thus he rationalized his subsequent betrayal of his loyal men and Guts, as he blamed them for his sorry state, and his hunger for hunger made him completely disregard their autonomy and lives. Griffith is considered evil, especially after his transformation into Femto, which involves sacrificing the Band of the Hawk to gain immense power. While some argue his actions before this point were driven by a complex mix of ambition and trauma, his ultimate decision to sacrifice his comrades to become a demon god is a defining act of evil. After being reborn as Femto, all traces of his morality, emotions, and conscience have been completely erased. Griffith has now become an extremely callous, pitiless, remorseless, uncaring, monstrous, and sadistic psychopath, as he sees Guts and the Falcons as nothing but tools, and he discards them like garbage when they are no longer useful. He even went so far as to rape Casca purely out of revenge, and did not show remorse or feeling ever since, while also mocking Guts after seeing for the first time after the Eclipse. Griffith consistently prioritizes his dream over the lives and well-being of those around him. Love, loyalty, and friendship are secondary to his ambition, something the Eclipse makes brutally clear. After ascending, Femto commits acts that are unquestionably malicious and cruel, including the assault of Casca, while Guts is forced to watch. This is one of the clearest signs of a morally corrupt, evil nature. He's not a one-dimensional villain. Mura wrote him with layers, trauma, and ambition, but his later actions at the Eclipse fit almost any definition of evil, even if his earlier self was morally gray and deeply complex. Ultimately, the series portrays Griffith as a tragic figure whose ambition and trauma lead to a complete loss of his humanity. His transformation into Femto solidifies his status as one of the most evil antagonists in all of fiction. What do y'all think, though? Is there a way to justify Femto's actions too? Leave a comment down below, and thanks for watching. Peace.